two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode, another year of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, rant along the way. What's going on, Sarge?
Incredible last month. Once again, can't believe it's 223.
2023. Let me know if my audio is okay. We have a couple things. Sarge might be a little louder than me. I'm gonna have to lower him.
As usual.
I have to lower you a little bit, Sarge.
If my audio is on at all, it's a win.
For some reason, you're always louder. All right, so Generation X Gaming weekly podcast goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. This is season 9. We've been doing this for 9 years. This is the start of the 9th year of us doing this. Unbelievable. We almost yes, because my son is 8. And we started this before my son was born, so like in May of the same year. So it's been a long time. We're on the new channel. We're on 30 NSG. We're moving it from 30 and Still Gaming over to 30 NSG. A lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. We're working on stuff. As you can tell, we've updated the background and the stingers and everything else. We're working hard at all this stuff. On today's show, Sarge, we have lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff to start off the beginning of the year. Thank God PlayStation had CES stuff, because that's a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about for PlayStation. So Sony does a patent to pass-through device. We're going to talk about that for cloud gaming. We're going to talk about a new Project Leonardo for PlayStation 5. It's a controller that they did. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation VR 2. We're going to be talking about Sony claims that the shortage is over for the PlayStation 5. We're going to talk about PlayStation consoles itself. Lots to talk about for Sony today. We're going to talk about Madden NFL 23 a little bit. We're going to talk about Fortnite a little bit. We're going to talk about Ubisoft's new Star Wars game being made by Massive. We have a little bit of topic to talk about that a little bit. Steam Deck, we got some news from Steam Deck that happened. We have... You know how I always bring up these things, Sarge, these crazy people that do stuff on the internet? We got a good one today. We have a guy who took No Man's Sky and recreated the Star Trek USS Enterprise inside the game. He built it inside the game, so we're going to check that out. We're going to look
by himself?
I don't know if he did it by himself. I just saw a picture of it, and I was like, that's going on the show. We're going to talk about Nintendo's console. Could the Switch 2 be coming out? We're going to be talking about Redfall. We're talking about Redfall. Any Xbox news? Of course, nostalgic. Give me a second. Let me go through the opening here, would you? Redfall, we're going to be talking about when it's coming out. We're going to be talking about Starfield. People are speculating it's coming out early second half. We're going to be talking about Elden Rings surpassed The Last of Us 2 in awards, Sarge. And we're going to be talking about The Day Before. And we'll talk about that and many other little stories if we get to all the stories. If you'd like to help us out, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. You can't become a member here, but we're so close. We're so close, but we are like 12 away or something like that. Less. We're at 980. Hold on, we're at 984 right now. So we're 16 people away from crossing the barrier of 1,000 subscribers on this new channel. So if you're here and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and help us out. If you also like to help us out, also do memberships and stuff over on our main channel. But it won't pop up over here, letting you know. So, Sarge, I know it's only been 1 week, but it's been 2 weeks since we've been off. It's 1 week since in the new year. What have
nice vacation.
Let me start it off. But what have you been playing? Let me find the right button though. What have we been playing? Don't start yet, Sarge. Opening right. All right. What have you been playing, Sarge? What have you been playing in this 2023 year?
I know about the television lingo and stuff. I know about the intro, outro stuff. You don't have to spoon feed me. I was waiting to talk. Anyway, it's 2 weeks of being very busy at work, so I don't get to play a lot. But what I did play was a crap ton of Division 2. Why, you might ask, is I needed something that I could just zone out and have some fun with. Plus the fact I really, really want to get some revenge on these crazy lunatics that are in the dark zone. I've got to find a build to go in there with. And so now I'm just starting to grind, right? But I think my game is glitched because I don't have the missions open for me to activate the dark zones on my current character, which means I must now restart with a new character like a lunatic
Right.
and plow through the game until I get those missions. And hopefully they'll stay open.
Well, I was playing with you. I was going around. I could not find the control panel. I went back into my game, found the control panel for the East, found the control panel for the South, but I couldn't open that one. It wouldn't let me interact with it. So there might be something going on. So there's
It's an actual mission. I watched some YouTube videos because of my apprehensiveness to actually want to go into PvP. I just wanted to play the game. I ignored most of it. So what it actually is when you reach a certain part in the game, the dark zone is an actual mission. And when you go into the dark zone on the mission, there are nobody else. There's no actual players in the dark zone at that time. It's just the other NPCs, and you're doing a mission in the dark zone. See, I didn't know that because I didn't care for the dark zone at all, because I didn't care for the dark zone when I played Division 1. So I wasn't paying attention. So now that I'm completely done with the game, I've done everything I can do, and all I'm doing now is looking for collectibles and looking for the knickknacks in the game, that I'm now looking for this mission to activate in the dark zone, and it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm thinking maybe because of so many patches and me not activating them, that they fell through the cracks and it's a glitch. Or I'll play a new character and see if I can get those missions to open up again. So at least I know they exist.
right.
But I'm basically trying to relearn the end game mechanics in order for me to efficiently level up gear without spending too many resources. That's basically what's happening now, because the number of shade tech you need to upgrade a piece of gear is pretty substantial. It's anywhere between like 9 and 15 pieces. And if you're doing I guess I call it homework assignments. If you're doing the homework assignments, you're only getting about 10 or 12, maybe 20 if you're really good, a week. So that means I can only upgrade one piece of gear a week. So that means I'm looking for almost max gear no matter where I'm going. If anything's even remotely lower than 3/4, I don't even bother looking at it anymore. I just dump it.
I just been destroying left and right everything. I'm just like, whatever. I don't even care. I don't even care if it is higher, because right now I have my LMG and I have my assault rifle that I want to upgrade, and I want to level those up. I need the resources, so I just destroy. I don't even care if I did get a better gun. I'm only using the guns that I want to use, and I'm just getting everything else and rid of it.
It's still. I will say this: I'm not sure it's going to keep me interested for as long as it did the first time around. But as of right now, my mindset is I want to grind this game again. I'm having fun with it.
Right.
And I'm looking for now specific gear sets so I know what I'm going for.
Yeah, chat, I don't know why the chat's not showing up, guys. Sorry about that.
And don't you find it funny that we were playing for an hour and a half and not once did a rogue agent appear, but as soon as Rebel Dog comes into the game and we play for 5 minutes,
yeah,
we're attacked by four top end rogue agents. A running gag with that guy.
Sean Rebel says in chat, he says, I don't remember doing a mission for unlocking the DZ. I remember going to the DZ person, the White House, and just went into the DZ. So maybe there's someone in the White House that you have to go to.
I checked it. I went right up to the person. I checked it.
Viking says, I want to jump back into Division 2, but I just can't bring myself to it. I got repetitive and I miss survival. So go back in. There's a. I don't know if you're playing on PC, Viking, or if you're playing on console on PlayStation. but I know there's a group of people, at least on PC, that are playing on survival in Division 1. Division 1's getting like a resurgence because people like that survival mode so much.
It was a good mode.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite
really
modes that they've done. Is there another game you've been playing, Sarge?
No, that was it.
I've been playing. Well, obviously, I've been playing Division 2 over the holidays. That's all I played. My son brought his Xbox down south, and I had to bargain with him. I was like, "Hey," I need some space on the S. I was like, "I need to download Division 2." He's like, "Okay, Dad." So he let me have the Division 2 on there. So late at night when he went to sleep, I was playing periodically through. I'm enjoying Division 2 once again as well. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because I'm playing with you or if it's like the loop that's there, right? I don't know if it's also like because Transformers Reactivate got me hyped over the holidays, and we say it's going to be like Division / Warframe, and I was like, let me fantasize of me running around as an Autobot inside New York City or Washington D.C. Not really too sure. So, I've been playing that. I played a couple other games, Sarge. I played Star Wars, the SkyWalker Saga. I played that again. I played it a couple weeks ago. I went through episode 3 and 4 the other night.
Is that the Lego My Ego game?
That's the Lego one. That's on Game Pass now that you can play. It's fantastic. It really is. It's such a good game. And the way they tell the story, they actually have, the early Lego games, they only like made they were like talking like the Sims. Now they have full dialogue inside there, and a couple of like, it's just funny, like the way they tell the story, like things that you watch the movie, the movie, but they tell the story a little differently, right? So it's interesting, like when in episode 3, when Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan are fighting, and he gets the high ground, he pulls a ladder out and he gets a little higher, and he says, "I have the high ground now, Anakin," because he's on a step stool or whatever. Like little things like that they put in there. I was like, that's funny. You know what I mean? So they've done a really good job with just how big that game is. Every time you play through the story mission, you'll be complete around like 30%, 32%. And then you can go back and do the free play and then collect all the stuff. And there's tons and tons of stuff to collect. So it's just a lot of fun. They did a really good job on the level design. They did a good job on the fighting because there's actually like combos and stuff that you do now. So it's not like you're just smashing X and doing this the entire time. You like do backflips and different things, all depending on who you are. There's a lot of good things they've done with the Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Couch co-op or online play?
No, you always ask this. It's couch co-op. There is no online multiplayer. Which is the biggest downfall. Like the next Star Wars or Lego game they come out with, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, they have to put online play. Like that, it would be a perfect game if they just added online co-op. That's all they have to do. It'd be perfect.
That's just what they're expecting you to say.
Right,
that's why they won't do it.
Right, they'll take something else out and then put the co-op in. So yeah, I'm playing that, and then I played a game called Stranded Deep. It came out in 2015, but I tried it, Sarge. You know why I tried it, Sarge? You know why I tried Stranded Deep? No, nothing comes to mind. No. It was on Game Pass. It was on Game Pass.
Oh, is that the only common denominator?
That was it.
Game Pass?
Yeah, it came out in 2015. I never tried it. It just came to Game Pass, so I was like, hey, let me try it. So I tried it. That's right, Stealth. He said Game Pass. I thought it was kind of boring. I have to admit, right? I thought it was kind of boring. Let me bring it up. I thought it was kind of boring. I'll fast forward a little bit. The entire time is just, I felt like the menu systems and stuff was very convoluted. Like I wanted to put stuff on the ground and it wouldn't let me, and you have to hold the B button to drop something. You have to go in and make a pile of something and then put the pile on. You have to watch your SPF, like the sun's like burning you, and then you have to like, it's just very like, I liked it, but I was like, it's just not catching. I played for about an hour and a half, and I kind of lost interest. I was trying to get to the next level. I was like, oh, great, I got a hammer. I was like, I can start building like buildings and whatnot. But it all comes down to, at least on this one island, it all comes down to making the rope. And when you have out no rope, you have to find these certain palm fronds to do it, right? Well, they only have 3 trees on this island in the very beginning. And when you make it, you need 4 of the palm fronds to make 1 rope.
Of course you do.
Right? Well, everything needs the goddamn rope. If you make the knife, you need the rope. If you make the sword, you need a rope. If you need a hammer, you need a rope. And if you need you constantly need the rope. And there's only a certain amount of trees on there. Yeah.
Sounds like a pattern.
So
can you grow trees?
You can't grow trees. You have to wait for them to grow back themselves.
Right? What a conundrum.
Yeah, and then I thought this was a stupid mechanic. Okay, and maybe you guys that played this game, you can tell me differently. But okay, so I was thirsty, and you drink a coconut. So you have to either climb up the tree and get a coconut, then you need a knife to cut the coconut open so you can skin the coconut, and then you drink the coconut, and it gives you 1 bar of dehydration, like of hydration, right? So I'm like, great. So I drink 1, and it gives me 1 health. And I drink another one, it gives me another health. So I have 2 health of 7. Right? I drink a third one, it gives me health. I drink a 4th one to go up to the 4th bar, but it penalizes me, and I fart. Not in real life, but in the game. I fart.
Because coconut water causes you to have the runs.
Yeah, so it gives you gas or whatever. And then I lost 2 blocks, and it went down to like 1 left. And I was like, that's retarded. I'm dehydrating, so I drink, okay? And then it penalizes me for drinking too much. So I was like, all right, cool. So you can only drink 3. Okay, and it goes by super.
It's very simple. They want you to understand that having a full health bar is not something that's going to happen.
Sure.
You have to live knowing that getting max stats for whatever reason, you have to just live how you're supposed to live in the game.
You gotta live in
just move on.
I felt like it was Destiny. You're only living in this. You gotta live in this little box right here.
But you have to give them credit. You have to give them credit because the fact that some guys said, we just can't have them drink coconuts and have full health.
Coconut gives you diarrhea.
So we have to give him at some point the coconut doesn't hydrate him anymore and he loses 2 hydration.
That's right.
Brilliant. That's genius.
Sean says you can't even put a lime in the coconut. It's dead on arrival. That's right. Dead on arrival if you can't do that.
But but not only can you cut the coconut open and eat the coconut and drink the coconut water, but you can also shave the coconut and eat the coconut meat. Does it let you do that?
No, you can't eat the coconut, but you can use the coconut to make a container later to get like water.
Lies.
You had to eat crab. You had to kill the crab, then you had to skin the crab, then you put the 1 crab on the fire, but your fire burns out super fast, so you have to find more sticks to put the things in. I was just like, this is like, and I like survival games. This felt like
it's homework.
And Krebsy's saying it's an 8-year-old game. It was okay when it came out, but it didn't age well. Okay, I thought it was good, but maybe it's because it's 8 years old. I mean, Minecraft is 12 years old, and I know it's a completely separate game. But what I'm saying is, if you play survival in Minecraft, it's much more enjoyable because they don't bury things behind like menus and different things and different, like if I want to drop something, I highlight the thing and hit B and it just drops it. It just drops it. This you have to hold the button, right? And then it breaks it down into like 4 things. I don't know. Maybe it's super realistic and I didn't give it enough time, but the problem is I don't want to give it that much time to then give it like that much of my effort.
I want to know, after years and years of survival genre being out, and now basically almost an entire generation of people have played survival games, does any of this translate into like real life situation? Like if the world did go to crap right now, somebody be outside trying to cut down their tree with a little knife from their house, like they're actually trying to copy what they did in the survival game in order to live, right? Would it come to that? Right? I would be hysterically laughing if I saw a bunch of people outside cutting down trees with knives trying to make rope. I would die laughing.
Yeah, it is a little ridiculous. It is a little ridiculous, but at the same time, I did enjoy it for the hour and a half I did play it for.
Listen, if and this is the old person in me talking, right? If you find it so entertaining to run around cutting down foliage to make items, then for God's sakes, go outside and do some yard work. Like if that really means something for you,
I'm gonna play Lawnmower Simulator, Sarge.
Go outside and do something for real.
I'm gonna do. That's something they don't have. They don't have gardening simulator. They have lawnmower simulator. No one made gardening simulator.
Oh, I'm sure it's out there.
Come on, I play them all. I played them all.
I'm sure it's out there.
I played.
I stopped looking at you when you started playing Power Wash.
Power Wash is a great game. Don't.
I stopped. I just stopped looking at you.
You can't give me crap for Power Wash Simulator. You played Unpacking. Unpacking is a great game. I gave it a shot.
I gave an indie developer my time because I thought it was a different type of game. It was something just cute to play to figure out what this person's life was. That's all it was. It was a deductive game. It's like all you're doing is unpacking stuff because you have OCD, and while you're doing your OCD stuff, you're learning about the person.
I have OCD. That's why I like Power Wash Simulator. You got to clean every little piece, and you got to go in that. You have to go back and forth. There's different attachments. There's a little story involved in Power Wash Simulator, right? Like the golf course I cleaned, there's a story behind it. Like, why does this golf course get so dirty? And then there's like little things you can do. Like, come on. There's chat. Who played Power Wash Simulator? Is trash for old people like 30? What do you mean this game is trash for old people like wait a minute. Wait, Power Wash Sim is trash for old people like 30. Is trash, so it's like
that's like you're sitting in a chair and you're like whittling wood.
Hey, whittling wood is a good thing.
Cleaning the floors. Like I get it.
Unpacking. Lurker says Unpacking told the story of an entire life with 8 lines of text. It was awesome. Yo, I'm not giving crap to Unpacking. What I'm saying to Sarge is he's giving me crap for Power Wash, and he didn't try it. I gave him crap, and then I tried it, and I was like, Unpacking's a really good game.
You're mistaken. I did try it. I
Power Wash? Power Wash?
Yes.
FYI, Garden Simulator does exist. It's on Steam right now. Well, there you go. There you go.
Told you.
I was going to be very surprised, Stealth, if there wasn't, right? Very, very surprised if it... So, all right, Viking, then you'll play Power Wash Simulator next year when you hit 40. Okay, so there you go. You'll hit it. You'll get there one day. Yeah, and that was it. I played Stranded Deep, and I played some Lego Star Wars. I played some Division 2. I'm at this spot, Sarge, that I'm really excited for Hogwarts Legacy to come out February.
I know. It's so long before you're actually excited about a game, and this one almost lets you want to be excited for it.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, will the Harry Potter fans get the game that they deserve before the person who's been waiting for a Star Wars game gets his game for the last 40 years he's been waiting?
Right.
And so half of me says, I wish you luck. I hope you get your game. And the other half of me says, no, I want mine first. I want my game first. Right? I've waited long enough. The technology's here. Show me my game first.
Right.
Then we can talk about Hogwarts.
Yeah. Krebsy says, you power wash a house in a game, but does your real house need to be power washed? No.
Yes.
No, I power wash my house. I power wash my driveway. I power wash in real life. That's what I do. Maybe that's why I like power wash. I don't know. I like using the power wash in real life, and I like it even better in a video game. I don't have to put the boots on, and I don't have to like wash to see if my toes gonna come off as I get too close to it as I'm going like this with the thing.
Yeah. Is Hogwarts actually coming out?
It's actually coming out. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm gonna put it out there. So a picture came out on Twitter that somebody in some Euro country already has the game in their hands. A company sold it to them early. So I'm just going to say there's either this person's going to be making a lot of money because they're going to leak everything and put it on YouTube, or they're just playing it right now in their house and they're enjoying it. Okay, but be warned that you could be seeing spoilers and stuff that happen. Yeah, so it's out. It's ready to come out. It's coming out February 10th for everybody on the new gen and PC. If you're on old gen, you got to wait till April. And if you're on Nintendo Switch, you got to wait till July. Okay, so it's definitely coming out. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know if I'm going to pay the extra $10 for the 3-day early access. I'm not pre-ordering. There's no pre-ordering, right? But if I get it what's that? What's he doing? Right. But if I do get it for the 3-day early access, I have to pre-order it. I mean, that's what it is. But as a content creator, I was like, is the 3 days really going to give me? Am I going to make enough content in that 3 days, or do I just wait the 3 days and then play it? Right? Do I want to be on the cusp of all the content creators making content, or do I just wait 3 days and then start making content? I don't know. 30, especially if you're looking forward to as a content creator. Yeah, I know, Water. I don't know. I don't know. The question is, here's the real question. Playing the game and then like diving in for those 3 days, am I going to have time to stop to make content, or am I just making the content by being live? I guess is what I'm asking. Right? You need to strike while the iron's hot. Yeah, I'll probably get it. I'll most likely I'll get it. I hate it though because it's pre-ordered. I don't want to pre-order anything because there is a little inkling of me that says that this game's going to come out and it might be buggy. It might be buggy, and it's nothing that these guys ever did because I have never played any of their other games. They're basically a mobile game company. This is their first big game, and that's what I'm kind of worried about, right? You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't know. Should I attempt to get this on day one, or is the day one patch, which is day 3 patch, they're gonna fix the bugs and glitches and whatnot? I'm hoping the game comes out and it's fantastic. But lots of good games coming out this year. It's gonna be a big year for us making content on this brand new channel with Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out, with what's it called? With Hogwarts coming out, Diablo 4 coming out, the new what's the other game that's coming out? Oh, Redfall, Starfield, all these games coming out. We'll get to those a little. So, all right, so that's what we've been playing. Let's head on over to top stories. Transformers. I forgot about Transformers. All right. So, first story. Sony Patents Pass-Through Device for cloud gaming compatible with Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Google Chromecast. Now, I have to admit, Sarge, I've said in the past that what Xbox is doing is beyond what PlayStation's doing. I said PlayStation has to do stuff, but I never even thought about if PlayStation was going to do the exact same thing, and they did, right? Maybe I did say in the past, but I don't remember it. But they're making a patent filed by Sony implies that the developer is creating a pass-through device for cloud gaming, potentially bringing PlayStation to streaming. A recent patent filed by Sony has a iconic developer looking for enabling PlayStation cloud gaming across a variety of streaming devices. The rise of cloud gaming has been plenty of gaming biggest developers turning the game bring the new games to more consoles than ever. Cloud versions of the games have allowed platforms like Nintendo Switch and like Resident Evil 7 that the hardware may not be able to support, and while others like Xbox have made Game Pass available through Samsung TVs now, Sony is looking to get in on the streaming as well. Now, Sony's newest foray as streaming would not be the first time that PlayStation developer has attempted to move into the game market. Sony's former PlayStation Now streaming service allowed subscribers to stream a variety of older games through their PlayStation console. Sony's streaming capabilities were carried over with the overhaul of PlayStation Plus earlier last year. Premium subscribers able to stream both modern and classic game service. Now, so is Sony's newest patent would see the company looking to branch PlayStation streaming out to other devices. What do you think about this, Sarge? About the cloud device that PlayStation's doing? It's going to be a cloud-based pass-through, like a Chromecast, like an Apple TV type of thing. Good, bad, indifferent.
This is all on the same page, which means that the cloud gaming has to work well for this type of stuff to work correctly. I see Sony adapting this much quicker than Microsoft could if they actually wanted to, because they make their own TVs. Right. So Sony could just put the thing in their TV automatically and go from there. Right. We all know, because we have talked about it for over a year, that gaming consoles will eventually go away and it will be straight from your television. You will be playing games. We all know that this is going to be the way it is, except that the infrastructure has to be there for it to work that way. So if the numbers don't jive for both Sony and Microsoft, if the numbers don't jive that they can't reach a certain number of people by such and such a date, then it will be a slow transition in which the people in the major metropolitan areas where the main lines are going, that they get it first, and then it slowly trickles down into the rural communities and countryside. Like that's the way it's going to be,
Right.
right? Data transfer is number one. And we looked at the story a little while ago. And when I say a little while ago, I'm thinking maybe it was like July, June or July, right? Where, or no, maybe it was August, I think it was, where they had just talked about this new set of software or hardware. I can't remember which one it was, that they're data transferring like gigabits of data a second, right? And if that is true, if that's true, then this has a leg to stand on.
Right.
But if that's not true, or they're still working the kinks out of what kind of data transfer that would entail and what kind of hardware you would need in your area for that to actually work, right? Then we'll see it slowly implemented.
I'm looking up.
Me,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
for me, I have a serious problem with Sony after this break because I did a lot of reading. And I'm sure maybe one of the stories you're going to talk about will mention this, but I don't really care for Sony at the moment, only because that it's been proven that they have paid third-party developers not to release games for the opposing team,
Well, we talked about
right?
that. It was rumored a couple of months
And
ago. We
that
talked about it.
rumored, yes, fact now.
Yeah. Well, I
Fact.
didn't see that story. We don't have that
Oh
story
no,
tonight.
it's fact. Please continue.
I was just gonna say I was trying to look up. You were saying that the high speed like streaming service, right? Like playing their game. I was trying to find out how many people in the world have high speed. I can't see that stat. It says here the summary of the internet statistics of there are currently 4.95 billion active worldwide. 65.6% of the entire world's population access. But I want to know how many people have high speed because the high speed internet is what you need to play these streaming services. And like for instance, I just got back from vacation. The house I was staying at had high internet, talking like 100, like 320 download, and I was trying to stream Division on my iPad in the house, and it was just staggering. Like, wasn't staggering like beautiful. It was staggering like it was like staggering, right? And I was like, this is unplayable. I can't play it. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, we have a really strong connection. So, if the future is that, the infrastructure is not there yet. Now, obviously, exponentially is going to get better and better as we go. Technology is going to get faster and faster. As you just brought up, they're making those chips where they can basically take the whole internet and transfer it within seconds, right? So,
Allegedly.
once they get to that point and you're playing on the thing, then yes, that would work. But if this cloud stuff is all coming across from PlayStation and Xbox, everyone starts to buy the thumb drive to stick in your television set. If they don't work, then it's going to be a really big bummer for everybody that buys it because then they're going to be like, yeah, I'm not. They won't invest, right? Especially all depends on what that price point is, especially that price point. Now, again, we talked about this in the past with Xbox. If they come out with that $60 or $100 thumbstick, maybe people would buy it, even if they, I'll use it every once in a while. We're not. That might be the catalyst that makes it okay if they can't always get on for then a $400-$500 system, spent like $100, and I don't know. You know what I mean? It all takes what you can swallow. Right? If I spend $500 and I can't get on my internet connection because the internet we have to watch what we say too because now YouTube, right? So I can't curse, Sarge. I just cursed. So basically, if they do
don't curse.
If they do the Fire Stick, like the Fire Stick, they need to make it Xbox same cloud gaming. Still not there. Sony has to come out and make sure maybe they can beat Xbox to the punch. Jesse Mack says they're just copying them. But you know how original, but it's not really original. I mean, but they have to compete, right? Like Burger King makes a hamburger, And then McDonald's makes a hamburger, right? Who makes a better hamburger? They got to compete. It's not like they're copying each other. They're like, well, they sell chicken sandwiches over there. Well, we're going to put chicken sandwiches on our menu too. They're doing the exact same thing because of what the market wants, right? If they don't come in with a Fire Stick type of device and Xbox has theirs and there's no competition, Xbox is going to run away, right? So we're going to go to the next story, which is also PlayStation. Okay. And they came out with this thing here, Starch. Let me see if I can bring it up on. So, introducing Project Leonardo for PlayStation 5, a highly customizable, accessible controller kit. Okay, so you can see this like weird little circle dial type of stuff, and it has all the same buttons that they have on a regular controller. Now, this is meant to help people with disabilities and whatnot. So, they came out finally with their own. Xbox has had theirs for like 2 years, I think, now. So here's another thing I guess they're copying Microsoft for, but they're doing it because there's a market for it, right? So designs to remove barriers to gaming and to help players with disabilities play more easily, more comfortably, longer period of time on the PlayStation 5. It says today at CES we announced the next step to the journey to make gaming more accessible. Project Leonardo for PlayStation 5 developed a key contribution. This is accessibility experts, community members, and game developers. Project Leonardo is our code name for our new highly customizable controller kit that works out of the box to help many players with disabilities play games easily, more comfortable, and for longer periods of time. Through the conversation with accessibility experts, incredible organizations like Able Gamers, Special Effects, Stack Up, we've designed a highly configurable controller that works in tandem with many third-party accessible accessories and integrates with the PlayStation 5 console to open up new ways of gaming. It's also built to address the common challenges faced by many players with limited motor controls, including difficult holding a controller for long periods of time or accurately pressing a small cluster of buttons on a trigger or positioning thumbs and fingers optimally for a standard controller. It's highly customizable. Hardware customization for Leonardo. Canvas for gamers is crafted their own play experience. A robust kit, swappable components, including a variety of analog stick caps, and also buttons for different sizes. So you can see here in this, you can literally move every single thing, shift it around, put different things on. You can customize, the entire controller, which is, pretty badass. I think it's a weird design, right? And that's what I'll ask you, Sarge. Obviously, I'm not a tech guy where I make designs like this. I'm assuming they make it like this because people that don't have hands or they have no limbs like that, or they're using their jaw or their mouth to move the controller and stuff like this. It seems like it would be a very, very awesome for that type of stuff because they're big buttons, controller's nice and big. It almost feels like that fighting controller back in the day. The big fighting pad, yeah, the Advantage. What do you think of the design and stuff?
Well, I can't really comment on it because being disabled in whatever way that makes gaming more difficult for you is the individual. Like there's so many different handicaps you could have. I don't know from experience whether or not this would help any one of those people depending on what their disability is. I am ecstatic that they're actually putting more than 10 minutes of work into trying to figure out new and inventive ways for people to play games who couldn't before. Right. I think that's amazing. I side with the fact of I think that it should be more on the lines of wearing that small little hat or helmet and you think about moving something and it moves it.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple months ago. Yeah.
To me, I've seen footage on that, and I think that is the way to go for people who have disabilities, because that way you can use your impulses in your mind to move things on the controller, and maybe the controller is just there for a movement, but everything else is you thinking about it and it actually does it. And that's actually plausible, by the way. I'm not making this up. It's not super sci-fi hour with Sarge and 30. This is an actual thing. I'm glad to see a controller like this. However, I know what's in the pipeline. I know what exists. So I would like to see them just come out with an actual hat that you put on your head and it plugs in and it knows. Like, that's where I want to see, because I'm tired of watching this analog world go by when we're in future time now. Like, I know I know everyone thinks that everything needs to move at a glacier pace, right? But it takes people like Tesla and a couple of these tech guys who are doing the new GPUs and stuff that pushes things forward.
Right.
Like you get shoved a little bit. Like move. Like it doesn't take an hour to walk down the street. You could actually now slide down the street with the new little. I don't know if you know about this, Mike, but you can look it up. Chat. It's called the moon boots. You wear them on your shoes, and you can actually walk 3 times as fast, right? You're actually walking, but you're actually skating at the same time. I think it's
didn't see this.
absolutely amazing. I just think that we've got to the point now where if we're actually trying to better people's lives, that what is possible right now is better than another hunk of plastic in your house that I'm going to customize when I know I've seen robotic limbs, keyboards that are gloves. I've seen all kinds of things over the last 3 or 4 months. And I just think this particular item is good, but for a very limited number of people that fit into the category that controller fits into. Whereas putting on the hat, I can play video games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm looking for universal problem solving, right? However, I think it's a good step. It looks interesting, but I don't think we need another piece of plastic in the house with more stuff when we can do better. We can do better.
When I looked up moon shoes, Sarge, this can't be it. This is this is definitely not making me walk 10 times quicker or 3 times quicker. Right? This can't be it.
I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at.
This can't be it. These are moon shoes. Is this what you're talking about? This can't be what you're talking about.
Something similar, but that's not them.
Is it this right here? These?
No, that looks like sharper image stuff. No, that's for running. That's also very cool. If you've ever tried to wear one of those, you fly. When you run with those, it's very hard to try to stop though, unless you learn how to run in those shoes. No, it's an actual shoe with wheels on the bottom that you can turn them on and off. The wheels turn on and they turn off. You walking, and then you can walk slide. It's the same sensation you get when you walk on a moving sidewalk. Remember though? You know that feeling you get when you walk on a moving sidewalk?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Bad. If anyone can find what he's talking about,
Yeah.
send it into our Discord. Put it in general.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
I'm sure it's real. I just can't. This is the
I'm,
other.
but I'm ecstatic that they're actually trying.
Here's
a little bit
Xbox's accessibility controller. It seems much simpler, right? It's got other adapters that you can attach to it. You can attach other peripherals to it as well. So obviously they're coming along a long way. PlayStation's starting to catch up. Are you talking about the old school Street Fighter joystick in the arcade? I am, Jesse. The Advantage, what it was called. So that's the Xbox version of this. So we'll go on to the next one, Sarge. Now we're going to talk about PlayStation. PlayStation says that they are going to have 30 plus games on track for launch window. Okay. They're going to have Gran Turismo 7 free PlayStation VR 2 upgrade at launch. They're going to have Beat Saber is in development. Pre-order the PlayStation VR 2. So right now, Sarge, the PlayStation VR is coming out February 22nd of 2020. We're less than 2 months away from this coming out, and PlayStation says there's 30 plus games within the launch window. Now, I don't know what that launch window it means. 1 month, because that's huge. If they have 30 plus games coming out,
talked about this,
right? If they have 30 plus games coming out, it's still a little high price point. I believe it's like $500. Let me check here for the pre-orders. It's like $550, $600. It's priced around the same as the Quest or whatnot. But remember, for the Quest, you don't need anything except for the Quest. This, you need a PlayStation, right? So there's a difference with this. But 30 games. If you're a person that just wants to play VR game, has 30 games ready to go when it comes out, it's pretty good. Not only is Sony keeping on track by making first-party titles for their regular system, but now they have 30 games ready and willing to be in PlayStation VR 2. What do you think, Sarge, about the 30 games? Do you think that's
We've talked about
You think that's
this.
realistic?
We've talked about this many times. This is now, I'm pretty sure it's the third, if not the fourth. I'm thinking a solid third time though. This is the solid third time they have tried to push VR into the mainstream. This is the third time. Now, I'm sure they've invested a lot of money, and I'm sure they're hoping that at least 2 or 3 games out of 30 will stick and make people want to go out and buy what they think is the next generation of gaming. I get it. However, we are still in the infancy stage of how a VR goggle set works, where the main number of people who can play it don't get dizzy, don't fall over, don't cause a ruckus in their house because they can't understand how to play it. Like, you're looking at you're basically trying to grow a generation of people to be okay with wearing goggles on your face,
Right.
right? More people than not have issues if they wear the goggles for too long a period of time. Headache, eye strain, dizziness, whatever. And so they keep trying, and we keep trying, and we keep trying. So I'm sure for a certain part of the populace, it's going to be fantastic.
Right.
30 games is a lot of investment, right? But you and I both know if I buy a 30 pack of games from the classic nostalgia period, you know how many games suck and how many are worth playing for more than 5 minutes.
Right.
So I think you're just trying to flood it with as much people as you can,
Right. So,
or
so you
much
feel
games
like
you can.
have $550
It's
is worth
value.
it. Yeah.
It's value, and then it's worth buying because 30 games. Oh my god! But like 30 games anywhere else, I've been alive long enough, kids. Hey guys, hi chat. You know what happens when you buy one of those 50 game cartridges or 30 game things? How
Right.
awesome it is for 5 minutes.
Well,
But is it good?
right. Well,
Is
at the
it
same
good?
time, you're paying for each of those games, right? You're not getting 30 games in one. At least I don't think you. So we did find it. We found the Moonwalkers.
Moonwalkers.
Let's bring it up
Yeah.
here.
Like legit to turn them on, you got to do a Michael Jackson move. You got to pick up your heel and kick it to the side. You know, you do like like the little heel move. That's how you turn them on and turn them off. I think it's hilarious. I think it's genius and hilarious all at the same time.
I have a video playing. Let me fast forward a little bit here. So you're walking.
You're just walking,
So I made that mission,
but you're
to
walking
enhance walking
faster.
instead of replacing it. I start working as
like you're
engineer
walking on a
to
sidewalk,
really
a moving sidewalk.
understand
That's
how to
basically what it is.
engineer safety.
I think the kid's genius. He's
all the
definitely he's got his head in the right
missions.
spot.
I have a
And then
question.
went on grassroots.
Are people going to be
study
falling down left and
locomotion,
right?
Well,
Command
the
and
same reason why
robotics
only
institute.
certain people can
And I
play
was
VR.
fortunate
Same
enough
thing, bro.
to team up
Only
with
certain
a
people
group
can get
of
used to it.
really
Yeah,
talented
it's basically Heelys for
roboticists,
adults,
race
Dupless.
car
That's exactly what it
engineers,
is.
Sneak designer.
Heelys for
Design
adults.
wincing,
Exactly what it is.
pack every
You guys can watch some videos about it. I watched a little bit about it. I read about them. It's actually ingenious. The AI that's inside the shoe is incredible. This guy has got.
It's got a computer inside. It's not just like
Oh,
roller skates on your.
No, man, no. The shoes learn how you walk, and it
Okay, so you
changes
can
the
walk
wheel.
up the stairs.
It's got a suspension or what do you call it? A transmission in the shoe. Yeah, genius.
What I think is genius about this thing is that you already have shoes and you can put it on any shoe.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. These are the kind of people you want. These are the kind of people you want to talk to. These are the kind of people you want on television talking to other people. This creates culture. This creates technology pushes. This kind of thing right here. This is what I'm talking about.
Well, I'll have to watch this. I'll have to watch this a little bit more later. So there you go. Moonwalkers.
Yep.
Yep. Back to PlayStation. Back to PlayStation.
Yeah, you might get bullied, Dupless, but they can't catch you when they do.
That's right. You can skate away faster than they can run. 3 times faster. But no, it's funny. I'm a pretty fast walker. Maybe I'll buy this for my wife so she can keep up. But then she'll go faster than me, and I'm gonna have to buy her some, and then we're in the ballpark again. Where I'm faster than her again.
I think it's ingenious. Listen, if you're living in a major metropolitan area, you do a lot of walking, right? It's when you purchase things like this and the mindset for this, it's always a time breakdown for the people that are thinking about it, right? So they always say something like, "Well, it takes me 20 minutes to walk to work. Well, now it only takes me 10. And if it only takes me 10 minutes to go to work instead of 20 minutes, how much time am I actually saving not walking?" Right? That's always the breakdown and how value is
That's an
created with
extra
this kind of
50
thing.
minutes a week of work. That
Yeah.
means you can wake up later, you can work out, you can do a
I
whole
mean,
bunch of stuff.
so you basically just got an extra hour of your life if you work if you work in a major metropolitan area and you bought them. Like that's how they get people to look at it. Oh, I'm saving time or I'm saving money, right?
The battery life, the battery life.
I don't know all the ins and outs, but you can definitely go look up the item. He's still working on it. Right? Something like that takes time, man. Something like that takes time.
All right, so the next story we have Sony claims that PlayStation 5 shortage has ended, Sarge. The
Yeah,
shortage has
yeah.
ended. And right after that, they also said that PlayStation. Oh, hold on, I'm missing one story. They say that PlayStation has sold 30 million units since, yeah. So also confirmed that December was the biggest month ever for PlayStation 5 console sale, bringing the total number for more than 30 million units sold worldwide. Right? So that doesn't look good for PlayStation, though, Sarge. You know why? You know why, Sarge? Because
I
Microsoft is
mean,
having a FTC thing where they're trying to tell them why they're not going to change the. And meanwhile, the number one console in the world has just sold more consoles than anybody else in the world. So it doesn't look good for PlayStation to say that Microsoft is going to run away with the industry when the number one console in the industry is number one in the industry with consoles.
it's the way the context of the conversation goes. They say that the shortage is over during a period of time where they can boast that they sold the most consoles ever, right?
Right.
So because they sold the most consoles ever means that the shortage is over. Like that's how you say it. So there's fact immediately in my sentence, right? We've sold the most consoles ever. Shortage is over. Like,
Well, no,
okay,
they're saying the shortage is over because you can
like
be able to find it in stores now.
I get it. I get it. However, right? That just because they sold that many units doesn't mean the shortage is over. It just means that the the demand, the initial demand for the gaming console has now lessened because everybody who wants a console, the crazy 3 million people who live in our country who have to get everything immediately when it first comes out, there wasn't enough for them,
Right.
right? So there's a shortage. But for normal people who buy systems a year or two down the road and are waiting, and then they buy a system, right? It means the same thing. The lunatic asylum, like the rest of us who have to get everything immediately. That's what they're talking about. So the shortage is over for you because you already got it, right? You already have it,
It's true.
right? I don't, I don't believe in the the way that Sony speaks about their product. We all know Sony sells more consoles. That's a fact. It's been given. It's been given now for like the last, I think, 2 or 3 console cycles. PlayStation sells more, right? Because most of the time, people who are playing on Xbox usually are on PC. And so there are certain games you buy for your console and everything else you buy for your PC. So if you just go back a few years, it was PlayStation and then PC.
Right.
And then Xbox wanted to put their foot in and make a console, right? That's what they wanted to do. I just I don't get the hatred between the two anymore. Like I don't understand what we're trying to say. The facts are already there, right? PlayStation sells more consoles. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. They sold 30 million consoles. Fantastic. Christmas was good for a bunch of people. They were able to say, "Hey, I have some extra money now. I'm going to go out and buy a PlayStation." Right? And 3 million people weren't looking for a PlayStation,
The
right?
here's some sales numbers. I don't know how accurate these are, but yeah, PlayStation 5 this year or 2022 sold 11 million, almost 12 million. Xbox Series S and X sold 9.4 million, and the Switch sold 17. Like look at the difference the last 3 years, right? Well, yeah, last 3 years because Xbox and PlayStation came out in 2020, been out for 2 years. Okay, they sold 3 million and 2 million respectively for in 2020. And Switch, because it came out in 2017, sold 24 million. Then in 2021 sold 21 million, and then in 2022 sold 17 million. I love how everyone's always worried about better Xbox or Sony or PlayStation, but yet meanwhile Nintendo Switch is outselling all of these guys,
Crushing, right? Crushing it,
selling out of all of these guys.
crushing it. Yeah, because the market, and once again, we'll talk about this until we're blue in the face. Nintendo's market is larger than Sony and Microsoft's market. Period. Right? The market for Nintendo is 6 years old to like 35. Okay?
Right.
That's what it is. Whereas the Xbox console and PlayStation console has always been labeled adult console. So like late years in high school, parents got you something, or you're in college and you get it for yourself. Like that's what it is. Meanwhile, Nintendo has been inside that kid's house since he was 6. So how do I compete with that market? Oh, and by the way, it's mobile. Oh, and by the way, greatest handheld system to date. Right? Why do you think the rest of them are trying to get these other streaming games, handheld systems out into the market? Because Nintendo is crushing it.
Right.
That's why.
Real quick, YouTube Lurker says, "Don't forget the best selling of all time was the Game Boy DS." I don't think that is
I don't know what was
true.
I don't know what's DS. Was it?
Oh, it is the Nintendo DS. You're absolutely right about that. But the PlayStation 2, Sony outdid that, at least from this list. Yeah. The PlayStation 2 has sold 159 million. The Nintendo DS, now I don't know when this article was. Let me this is January 5th, 2023. So just recent. So they've done the research. So PlayStation 2's got 159 million. Nintendo DS has 154.2. Game Boy and Game Boy Color has 118. PlayStation 4 is 117, and Nintendo Switch is at 104. Look at the top 5. Look at the top 5. 3 of the 5 are Nintendo, and 2 are PlayStation. Right? But
It just is what it is.
Look at those numbers, man. Nintendo is just always right. Best selling consoles.
Like kids in school talk about the games they play on their handheld. Like we used to talk about games when we used to play Nintendo when we were kids. It's the same thing. You are surrounded by kids who are talking about playing video games. What do you get? What you got for your Switch? What'd you get for your Switch? What'd you get for your Switch? Are we playing Splat at lunch today? Like everybody has one because they're all in the same. They're all together.
And number 6 is PlayStation as well.
Yeah.
Then number 7 is Nintendo. Then number 8 is PlayStation. And then number 9 is Xbox. So Xbox is in the top 10, but Nintendo and PlayStation have the other 8. Right? Then Sony's number 10 with portable there. So
right,
yeah.
and don't forget that consoles are much more expensive outside the U.S., man. Right? The U.S. market is very critical to a lot of these companies to get their product to market. But outside of America, like the price for a console, like in South America, is redonkulous.
They're
Or in
playing-
some places in Europe, like you think you're paid a lot of money for a PlayStation, like go check how much they would pay for that system down in South America. Right? It's not a normal thing for a normal family to have a PlayStation in their house.
Right.
It's just not how it is.
Nintendo gets insane numbers. Japan knows their stuff. Oh yeah. I mean, look, Microsoft just wants to be a part of the conversation. I don't care they're
that's
first.
yeah,
But this is their whole
just
point of them not worried.
Right.
They're like, give us
That's
Activision
correct.
because this is not going to hurt us. Like we're not
Yeah,
going to
but
take it away from them.
you've been fighting PlayStation now for how long? 10 years, 15 years, right? Officially? Like when Xbox first came out, it wasn't a huge deal. Has it been 20? Like I know when it came out, but did you consider it competition? Was what I'm
I mean,
saying.
it's
Right.
competition. No,
Right.
no, you're a competition, but you're not competition. At the
Right.
very start.
So after 20 years, Microsoft knows they can't beat them in a console. So we just make our own up. We make up our own market with our own thing. And now we created it. We are number one because we made it up.
Right.
Right. That's That's what's happening right now with this whole Game Pass thing. And that's why Sony has to now pivot and do what they're doing, right? Because technology wise, that's the road we're on,
Well,
right?
PlayStation, since I said it's a little over a year, I said that they have to catch up. They've caught up. Not only did they take their games from the PlayStation and put them on PC, not only have they now done a patent where they're getting a streaming stick to put in, right? Not only did they get a game service like Game Pass, right? They've done all the things that they needed to do to compete
In a year.
in a yeah, a little over a year, right?
In a year.
So, all right, from that story, we'll go on to the next story. These are little shorter ones. We have Madden NFL 23 players are furious, Sarge, because as a server issue, wipe franchise mode saves. Okay, so a major data issue with Madden NFL 23 has caused tons of players to see their franchise mode saves completely wiped, and fans are not happy about it. The most recent entry of the EA Sports annual football franchise have been with plenty of criticism from fans since the launch in August. EA has made several updates to the game to attempt to curb the many problems that the game has, and some of them even call the worst Madden game ever. Now the major error has seen that the game's most popular mode affected by franchise has historically been one of the most popular game modes in Madden NFL series. Players taking charge of building their own Super Bowl winning team. However, Madden 23 iteration of the fan favorite mode has been railed for its numerous bugs. Fans have reported everything from games not saving properly, franchise mode not properly saving, players signing or cuts not saving, and even the regular season going back to preseason now. A significant amount of NFL 23 players have seamlessly lost their franchise mode saves. So a recent server outage has seen fans reporting that the franchise is currently unavailable, with the game experiencing major issues. Fans have reported the franchise mode have seamlessly disappeared, with multiple players losing their save game. At this point, Sarge, are you throwing the game out the window? Are you breaking the disc, or are you punching a wall? Which one are you doing, Sarge?
I'm doing nothing because I stopped caring about this after the first fiasco, right? If you keep giving EA money because you love football that much, and every year it's a trash fire,
Right.
there's something wrong with your consumer brain. There just is. Like, I know you love a game. I've loved games too, right? You have to have it because I love it that much. But if every time you bought the game, someone punches you dead in the face, eventually you think you would learn. But some people don't care.
Yeah.
They like to hand over money. They like to be given something that's broken. And then I get to go online and complain about why it's broken, even though I gave you my money. Like, it doesn't make sense to me at this point.
Right, because they already have your money. They don't care.
Let EA die. Don't you get it? Like, if you let them die, if you actually let EA die, stop buying FIFA, stop buying Madden, stop buying Battlefield.
Right, you'll get a better game.
They go away and somebody else will take their place because, hey, there's a market out there for people who want to play these games. But no, right? The general public in the free market system with the power to tell them to go F themselves would rather buy a consecutive broken game year over year than let somebody else who actually cares about the actual IP to make a proper game.
Yeah, the game to my
there's nothing else to say.
And
there's nothing else to say.
Madden football was better when 2K had their football game as well. 2K's football was a much better football game. That's 20
Let
years
them
ago.
die.
That's 20 years ago.
Let them die. The rules, listen, business rules are really simple. If they don't have to fix something, they won't.
Right.
If they don't have to pay for something, they won't.
Right.
Right? If they don't have to improve on something, they won't. So the entire actual power lies in the consumer base who loves the game. I love this game. Oh, I'm gonna keep buying it because it's a piece of shit. I love it. I love it.
Don't curse,
like,
Sarge.
okay,
Strike two.
I love it. I love it. I want to keep buying it. But it's just a piece of trash. It's a piece of trash, right? There are games on the 8-bit Nintendo that beat Madden right now. If you just get past the graphic problem, the game works well.
Right.
I can have my own team. I can do what I want. No. Crash fire. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, anytime EA is mentioned if it's FIFA, Madden, Battlefield, I'm gonna stone face. I'm gonna do stone face, and you should basically just put up an actual still photo of a middle finger. That's basically what's gonna happen from now on for the rest of the year. I don't care anymore because every year, this time, it's the same deal. It's the same deal.
So from that story, we're going on to the next story. Fortnite had a Hulk skin, I guess about 2 weeks ago, or maybe a little longer. And people were saying that it's pay to lose because the hitbox on this character is much wider and bigger than the other characters. So there's a little video here that we're going to watch. So
Is this Hulk skin pay to lose? Let's find out. So in Chapter 4, they updated the ADS position on skins, and it takes a lot less of your screen. So for ADSing, not really. Now, if we compare him to regular skins, he still has the same height, but look at Hulk's body. He's like 2 to 3 times the default skin. Alright, now let's test this hitbox out with the Mystique skin. So clearly shooting at this part of the brick wall is not hitting the Mystique. Now we're gonna have her do her emote to transform to the Hulk without moving. So now it's really easy to see here how much bigger Hulk's arms are. Now let's keep moving right and see if we can still constantly hit him. I feel like this is pretty significant, so let me know what you guys think.
okay, so you see there that it's people pay for that. It's a BR game. Okay, so now the actual Hulk body is a wider hitbox than the other characters in the game. What do you think about that?
First of all, no duh, right? When you play, for instance, when I played MMOs and I played PvP, I made sure I had the shortest, thinnest character always.
Right.
I was like a dwarf magic user, or like so you're this little guy on the screen jumping around. So it's much harder to hit because you're smaller.
Right.
So if I'm Hulk, I have a bigger hitbox. I don't want to curse, but
Yeah,
like,
but that's the
are we
point.
serious? Like that's the whole point of it.
No, but that's the point though. People are paying to give themselves a bigger hitbox.
Right. I'm glad you made yourself bigger for me. I appreciate the fact that you think that I need help shooting at you. I appreciate you buying that skin. That's basically all you should say.
Right.
Thank you for buying the bigger skin for me.
Right, because you just made a better target.
But it works in
extremely
reverse.
much larger.
It works in reverse too. This is how you listen, in gaming, all things being equal, people will figure out the way to have an advantage over somebody else. Right? It always happens. This time it happens to be a skin, but it's not different. It's not different by a long shot. Not by a long shot. I think it's funny that you paid to make yourself worse.
Yeah.
If you're going to focus on that point of it, I think it's hilarious.
That's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah,
that
that's
people
hilarious.
are buying to get to hit worse. Stealth says there are other skins that have big hitboxes also, not just Hulk. Well, the point is, Stealth, that people are paying money to lose in a gunfight, right?
Pretty funny.
That's what's funny about it. It's just like he says, just like some skins flashier, then also you can use spot easier on that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like listen, when it's go raiding and stuff for WoW, smallest, darkest guy possible, like a little black blip running around inside of a dungeon. Like that's how it is.
Right.
That's what you do.
Guys, don't forget,
take any advantage that you want. Advantage.
Don't forget, guys, we do have a question part of the show at the end. So get your questions in for any of the topics or questions for me and Starge at the end. Yeah. Lurker says, my kill death ratio just went up 0.4 points. Boy.
Booyah!
Right. So there you go. Get that 0.4. You get it. Does Venom Skin have that same problem with bigger? It probably does. It probably does. If it doesn't, then they need to fix it. All right, the next.
I mean, otherwise, think of it this way: if no matter how big your character was, if everybody had the same rectangle box for the chest, the same little rectangles for the arms, right? If it'd be the other way, people would lose their minds, right? They'd be like, "I'm all over him. He's not getting hit at all. I'm all over him." Like, if everybody had the same hitbox, but the skin was just this thing over top of the skeleton, then everyone would have to learn, I've got to laser in on center mass and head. Everything else is garbage,
Right.
right? Like that's the way you'd have to play. That's the way you'd play.
The next story we have, Sarge, is from Ubisoft. Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game. We all know about the Star Wars game. Now, the Star Wars being made by Massive, also Lucasfilms. My voice is a little rough right now, so I'm trying to talk. I'm sorry if I talk soft. So, one of the lead, Julian, is the creative director of Ubisoft, right? And he's working on the Star Wars massive open world MMO game. Okay, he tweeted out the other day. He said, "Happy New Year to all. 2023 is going to be a huge for us. Join the adventure." How do you read that, Sarge? How did you take that? I just read.
I mean, they're excited to get to work on it. Like, I don't. If it's a game announcement, it would be where the game's coming out.
Right. So
You know what I mean?
so people took it as an announcement, like it's coming out this year.
Because they failed English.
Right.
I
so,
know. I got it. It's sad. It's sad, right? Listen, if the game was ready and it was coming out, they would say the game is ready and it's coming out. Right? That's what they would do. They would just tell you it's coming out. Like, I don't understand how stealthy of a dev you have to be like, I'm gonna secretly tell my people that the game's coming out, but not really tell them it's coming out, but not tweet anything, but make it feel like it's coming out. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're excited to work on the game, great. You're almost done with it, cool. You'll tell us when it's ready, right? Usually, okay, great. See you then.
right. If my voice
See you
is
then.
cutting out, chat is one. I'm literally struggling to speak tonight, and I shut off one of the filters. So let me know if it doesn't cut off anymore. But I'm like literally I look healthy, but I'm not healthy right now. So he says Happy New Year, Star Wars Massive, and then we had this come out as well, Sarge. It says breaking news. Now I don't know if this is like rumors. Take this with a grain of salt, right? Before we do that, I think I have to put out the grain of salt. Hold on, grain of salt.
You almost sound like Nick Nolte. Keep it up.
Take it
Just like Nick Nolte.
with a grain of salt. That's really loud, guys. I'm sorry about that. Sorry. We really had to get the point across. It was a grain of salt. So breaking upcoming Ubisoft Star Wars game will reportedly feature a fully customizable character that walks the path chosen by the gamer and will showcase an open and explorable galaxy. A lengthy campaign is reported as well. One of the other things they said about this, Sarge, was that, again, more rumors, but you're going to be able to get in a ship on the planet, and you're going to be able to take off like No Man's Sky and go into the galaxy and then fly through the galaxy and then land on another planet. What do you say?
Nothing. I say can't wait to see it. Right? Because otherwise, the first thing that comes to mind when they say that is cutscene. That's what I hear. Right? When I've heard this so many times about the whole going through the atmosphere thing, make it look cool and immersive, and I'm all about that. By the way, back when Battlefront 3 was supposed to come out long time ago, right? And we know it's doable because we've seen it done in the past. And so now you have somebody telling you about it. But if it's real and it's supposed to sound cool, you know, it'd be cooler. You know, it'd be cooler if you just showed a scene of it and you didn't say nothing. Like you showed nothing at all. You just showed a ship leave the planet, go into outer space, and be like, that's it. Just show like a little scene that you've actually worked on it and it's actually happening.
Well,
like it's working. Right.
Here's a thing that
that'd be cool.
I was talking earlier. Me and Creature were having a conversation, and he was talking about how that we were speculating a little bit, right? So Division 1 was created in 2016, right? It was 2014. They made the game in 2 years. Came out in 2016. Right after that came out, they started working on Division 2. Okay, and in 2 years after Division 1 came out, Division 2 came out. So 2018 is when
same studio, right? Same studio,
massive, right? So Division 2 came out. Well, you gotta remember, year 3 of Division 2, they said that we're not. They took a year off. There was no content whatsoever in Division 2, right? So we were speculating, did the same team from Massive that was working on Division 2, instead of going over to Division 3, or maybe they did work on Division 3, but then Star Wars came over. Lucasfilm said, hey, want to make a game? They went, we can do it. Do you think, now obviously this is me making speculations galore here, right?
Sure.
But do you think they took, because they're using the Frostbite engine, so obviously these guys know what the Frostbite engine can do. They know what it can push and what they can get out of it. Okay.
Have you seen the layers of detail in the Division 2 maps?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we know they know what they're doing.
Yeah. So do you
Okay.
think that they were working on Division 3 and stopped, okay, to turn it into the Star Wars game because they went another direction, right? Because they outsourced the Division, which is the Heartland, and they outsourced a Resurgence, I believe it's called, which is other Division games. But the massive team went on to go make this Star Wars game. Now, remember, EA had a lockdown on all Star Wars games up until 2023, meaning nobody can release a Star Wars game.
Can now.
Not this year. Okay?
Yeah, it ended for
No.
2023.
No.
This year? It ends this year?
in 2023. Hence why
Okay.
Jedi Survivor is coming out in 2023 because it's the last hurrah for EA. Right now,
Okay.
it's not exclusive anymore for them. Right.
Okay.
So now, Massive, they announced this in the January of 2021 that they had a Star Wars game. It takes 2 years, 2 to 3 years to make a game. We are now 2 years into. They announced it, right? So follow me here on my timeline. Okay. 2020 is when they would have started working on Division 3. Okay. Obviously, once they made the announcement of Lucasfilm outsourcing to other games, they were probably already talks to other people before they made the announcement that they were getting developers to make Star Wars games. So we're talking mid 2020, beginning of 2020 or whatever, and they started working on this project. Okay, maybe it was a Star Wars project, maybe it was Division 3, but then they announced it in 2021 January, so they already had a year or almost a year to work on a project before they announced it. Okay, and now they announced it, and now it's been 2 years since the announcement. Can't release it this year. It's got to come out next year, 2024, at least by the calendar that I'm going by. Okay,
Right.
So I forget where I was going with this now. So do you believe that they worked on this ahead of time, knowing it was going to be a Star Wars game, or do you think they converted, changed, and swapped out from going from Division 3 to Star Wars?
Well, no development team sits idle. If they said they weren't coming out with any content for Division 2, that's fine. But there's no such thing as your dev team just chilling out for 12 months.
Right.
Okay. So that being said, with the EA exclusive clause for Star Wars ending this year, and do we know it's what time this year, or is it the entire year of 23?
I could look it up. I'm pretty sure that their EA exclusive contract ended.
Okay, so here's how I would look at it. If I say that the contract ends this year, meaning that nobody else can release a Star Wars game but EA in the year of 2023.
Maybe
Okay? I'm just going to go with it, right? If that's the case, that means you will not see a Star Wars game by them until sometime next year, right? But that also means that they have to have a game coming out at some time because they need to make money, right? Like the companies need to make money. You just can't be sitting around waiting for a game. So even if you took the time off to work on a different game, right? The deciding factor for me would be what game comes out first, right? Does Division 3 come out first, or does the massive Star Wars game come out first? Like that's basically how you look at it, because there has to be product in the pipe. The pipe is always moving. The stuff is moving. So if I'm contractually obligated and I cannot release that game until 2024, probably springtime by the looks of it, right? Then that means that Ubi and Massive have got to release something this year. So whatever game it is.
Well, they got Division stuff. New seasons coming out for Division. They got Division Resurgence. They have Division Heartlands.
Yep, but that means that they would have to have been working on it. right?
Right. Okay. So
I'm going by what you said, that they took a break from Division 2 and they were working on something else. So
was
if
it
they were
Division
working on
3 or
Star
was
Wars
it Star
game,
Wars?
I would think after you've been working on a game, the same game for 4 years, even though there's a number at the end of it, you're still working on the same game. If at some point they decided to stop working on one to work on something new, that would definitely be plausible, because you want your team to be fresh-minded and have some challenges. You don't want them grinding inside the same game for too long,
Right.
right? So I agree with the plausibility of that.
All right. So
I,
here I looked it up.
I go with what game comes out first.
I looked it up. It says 2023. The agreement with EA is scheduled to expire in 2020. Email statement EA said, "We're proud to be a long-standing collaboration with Lucasfilms, which has continued in years." And they said this on January 13th. And that episode feels like yesterday, but we did it 2 years ago. We talked about this 2 years ago on this podcast. But I said that that's when all the games are going to come out for Star Wars. So obviously, after the thing expires, we know Respawn's also got another game in the works, other than Jedi Survivor, right? So we know that their speculations it's Battlefront 3, something along the line. But there's other games to shoot for EA Star Wars wise. They get to continue making Star Wars games. They just don't have the exclusive rights to make Star Wars. So I think that this massive game, obviously they're active hiring right now. There's like 5 or 6 positions opened up for the Star Wars game. They're looking for animators. They're looking for level designers. So I think this game is not anywhere near completion, but 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they already opened it up to playtesters. Okay, so they're in early alpha stage, meaning, again, I'm not a designer, and if anyone out there, please, tell me if I'm right or wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong. But if you're in alpha stage, early alpha stage, you're about 9 months to 18 months into the game cycle, right? So if they announced it in January, I'm going to say they're about 18 to 20 months into development cycle, okay? And they have all this year, right? They have all this year to work on it. Play tests are happening. They already started happening. They're getting people early, right, close to their studio, and then they're going to expand it outwards as they get more and more people. I think this game comes out, I'm going to say 2024. I'm going to say this is going to be late 2024. I'm going to say August to December-esque, or August to November frame, I think, when this MMO comes out. Now, I'm excited, Sarge, because this potentially could be the game that I've been looking forward to, like Hogwarts Legacy, right? The Hogwarts Legacy, that game for Harry Potter fans. That Transformers game is that game that I'm looking forward to, which technically could be like a Division / Warframe type of thing. And now this Star Wars game could be that void of what we've been looking for. Now, obviously, Massive can make huge landscapes and whatnot. Like they've done layers and layers in DC and New York and stuff, and the level design looks fantastic. What comes to my mind right away is that they used the Frostbite engine, and they made Coruscant. They made Coruscant with the city like New York, but they made it with Coruscant, right? Or something along the lines of 1313 and the levels of Coruscant, where they're going through. Now, I'm not sure about the other posts about going to different planets and galaxies or whatnot, but just thinking Massive knows what they're doing with Division. They know how to make landscapes. They know how to make cities and stuff. It's a gun game. I'm not saying that you can't be a Jedi or whatnot, but what I'm saying is it would be pretty easy just to skin the game that is Division and turn it into, I joke about it all the time, as Ghostbusters, right? And it would also be pretty simple as far as skinning it and making it into like a Star Wars clone trooper type of game that I've said in the past, and they could get it out faster. You know what I mean? Because remember, if it is an MMO and they want these type of games going forward, Ubisoft wants the Assassin's Creed type of stuff, right? Where it's a universe that constantly evolves and keeps going on. It's a live service game. Division's a live service game, okay? This Star Wars MMO or whatever game they're making is going to be a live service game. And we all know that live service games don't have to be complete when they come out. They just have to be in running order when they come out, and then they add to it as they go, right? So they get everyone, all hands on deck, make the core game, and then they release it, and then they slowly drip feed you all the content for the next couple of years. Yes? No?
I just think that they have in their mind right now, they've got dates in their heads about when stuff's coming out. And I think it would be the greatest advertisement ever if without telling anybody, the day after EA's contract ends, whenever that will be this year, because we don't know the exact date, but let's just say the day after the contract ends, the advertisements for games coming out either this year or the following year immediately start coming up. Like, EA's done. This is what we got. Like, I think that would be genius to get it out there immediately. Because then you would know right then and there that EA's time is done.
Well, I think they're done anyway. As far as there's no exact date on
We don't know yet. We don't know.
exact date. I mean, it literally could be the day fucking. It could be the game when Jedi Survivor comes out. That could be like the last possible moment, and they're like, "All right, we're exclusive," and then they that could be the last part.
I think it would be great. The day after the contract ends, they start advertising for they start advertising for Star Wars games that are coming out. And I'm not talking about just them. I'm talking about everybody. Like everybody who's been working on a Star Wars game or has got one coming out soon, they just start talking about it immediately. That'd be priceless, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I'm gonna go quickly with the next couple of stories here. The next story we have is Deck now has over 7,000 compatible games on the portable device start. I said, who is this for when it first came out, and now that I see it, if you have a Nintendo Switch, you only play Nintendo games. But if you have
That's correct.
if you have the Steam Deck, you can have access to your entire library that you've been playing your entire life been on PC. So you have a lot of games, and now
That's correct.
there's 7,000 compatible games. Doesn't mean they're all working on the Steam Deck or optimized for Steam Deck, but there's 7,000 games on there as well. So the next thing is No Man's Sky player creates a Star Trek USS Enterprise. A No Man's Sky fan takes it upon themselves to implement something from another popular sci-fi franchise to recreate the Star Trek USS Enterprise. Let's see. Where is
Well,
this?
first question is which one?
Well, you'll see it. I don't think there's a video picture of it. So I don't know how he made, because he's got to be on PC first off, because the
Pretty
amount
impressive.
of things that you have to put to make that it would lock up. There has to be a limit unless they got rid of that limit. But it's very impressive, right? Very impressive. So inside of No Man's Sky, you can go see this. Gives you actually the coordinates where to go.
It looks like it's the Constitution class. It doesn't look like it's the upgraded version. What it looks like.
Yeah. You can go see it. The creator goes on to say that he built it within 3,000 parts exactly. So that's the limit. You have 3,000 parts to make, but had to leave the interior empty. They so kindly provide coordinates to the ship to anyone who wants to decide. So there you go. I'll leave it up on the screen for a second. Any of you guys playing No Man's Sky want to go to the actual coordinates, go check that out inside the game. So
Well, I love gamers, man.
yeah,
We're just a different breed of people. We just are.
I thought that was pretty cool. The next story is Payday 3 teaser reveals logo, confirms 2023 release. Overkill Software Starbreeze Studios kicks off a new year by revealing Payday 3 logo along with the opening game store page. A new teaser trailer, Overkill Software YouTube channel has revealed Payday 3's logo, serves as one of the first major games of the year. Along with logo, revealed Payday's Steam store page has been opened and wishlist ahead of 2020. While the trilogy began with Payday, the heist earning a mixed reviews back in 2011, Payday 2 exploded popularity, has been stable for co-op shooters genre ever since, and the Payday series puts players behind the mask, heist crew members Dallas, Huxton, Houston, and Chains and Wolf as they embark on the life of violent crime robbery. Did you ever play Payday 1 and 2, Sarge?
No.
No?
I remember all I remember is the cover box art, the two guys in the clown masks robbing the bank.
Yeah, I played Payday 1. I never played Payday 2. I thought it was okay. Um, But yeah, I'm not excited about this. I just thought I would talk about it because there might be people that are watching that are excited about Payday 3. So there you go. Payday 3 is coming, I guess, sooner rather than later. Go ahead.
I think it came out during the heyday of Grand Theft Auto 5, and I think I just couldn't stop
Well,
playing
no, Payday 2
Grand Theft
came out.
Auto 5.
Payday 2 came out in
Yeah.
2011.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah. I agree, Water. I think that's the reason why I didn't play it. I think it's because I was just too caught up in the GTA stuff.
Was it the right? Oh, Payday 3 with the announcement of 2011, Payday 2, highest earning mix back in 2000. Oh, Payday was 2011. Yeah, you're right. That was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Listen, I heard it was a decent game and it was fun, but I never got to play it. Because in my mind, if I was doing a bank heist, whatever else, I kept thinking that GTA is the way to go. We're gonna do heists. Like I'm in. Right? Criminal Empire, I'm in. Right?
All right, so the next story I want to talk about is Elden Ring. Elden Ring surpasses The Last of Us 2 as the most rewarded game of the year recipient. So, according to the dedicated Reset Era researchers who have compiled Elden Ring's total game rewards, has deducted that From Software's latest currently sits at staggering 324 wins. That's officially beats The Last of Us Part 2 awards, which totaled 320 back in 2020. Taking a slightly deeper look into things, Elden Ring appears to have won a grand total of 281 Game Awards from, including us here at Games Radar. Additionally, the action RPG took home 43 awards from polls voted by audience and rather than the media outlets, all totaled at 324. So there you go. There's just a dumb, useless fact for you that Elden Ring is the number one. So there's two bigger stories I kind of want to talk about. We have about a half hour left in the show. One is The Day Before. The Day Before is the Division-esque type of game that's sort of like Last of Us since they use the same type of font. Okay, and they show a new video here. So, hold on one second. I'm gonna mute that for a second. I'll put this on. So as you can, this is the new footage that they want to show you. Elongated stuff. You can literally tell right off the bat that they've downscaled what it looks like. Okay, as far as the lighting. Now, obviously, this is daytime during the other footage that they've showed us, but something looks a little different about this game. I was watching Force Game, and he brought up this fact of something. I'll rewind this for a little. I want to bring it up. He brought it up on his video. But if you look at the muzzle flash that comes out, right? I'm going frame by frame. Okay, frame by frame, and the frame disappears in one, right? It's 4 frames, but it's only one picture, one JPEG. Where if you go back to other games that have muzzle flashes, go through the footage, you can literally see the animation of the muzzle flash, like, be animated, right? These are not animated. These are just literally pictures of that. Okay, it's just the muzzle flash. Okay.
Yeah.
So what people are saying is, right, everything they've seen of this game. Now, this game comes out March 1st. Okay, this year. Okay.
Right.
They're saying that everything from this game.
This looks like Division, just in a different format. Go ahead.
Well, Division and there's assets from this, right? So in Force Game video brings up the mall that you saw.
Yeah, the original trailer that we saw.
Yeah, and people said that's the mall from Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Went in, looked at it, and said, Then they went in to I'll let this play. Then they went into another footage of another clip that they showed, and there was a gas station. The gas station, they said, looks familiar because they thought it was from Stranger Things. Not Stranger Things. Strange World, or what, I forget what the hell the other game is. But the asset of the gas station was from the other game. Like, the T, like that logo. So basically, what they're saying is right. The whole thing about the day before is they don't say it's a
It's a
fake.
hodgepodge.
Well,
It's a
they don't think
hodgepodge.
it's a fake game. They think it's a game that's just not telling the truth of what it is. Okay, so everything that we've seen looks scripted. Looks like they've put together at the high res possible to show you, but we really haven't seen like actual gameplay. Right? You saw scripted type stuff for the gameplay. They're saying that there's something about this game that seems off about it. Right? Now, we are 2 months away from this game launching. Less than 2 months launching. Now, the game was supposed to launch on June 22nd of last year, and on June 6th, the company decided to say, hey, we're moving everything over to Unreal Engine 5 from Unreal Engine 4, so we're sorry, 2 weeks before it was supposed to launch, and now here we are 2 months away. They haven't done any kind of, no promotional stuff, right?
Like, you save money that way. We already know the rules of the game.
Well, think about this, right? Hogwarts Legacy is coming out in 1 month. 3 months from before, they started showing gameplay. They started going over stuff.
Yeah, they had their whole big reveal thing.
Right.
I remember.
These guys are not doing that, right? These guys are not doing that.
It costs money.
There's also there's also rumors and stuff going on that these guys have never finished a game up until this point. The other games that they've done, they've launched, put out, stop supporting super fast,
cash grab,
and then they sell them off to the publisher. Okay?
Yep.
And the publishers take them and they can working on, but they don't keep track of anything. Another shady thing is that these guys that are making the game, after they canceled the game last year, they asked for volunteers, okay, to help them finish the game
because they don't have a lot of money to work with. Okay. Yep, that explains why they're not promoting. They don't. Right. They can't afford a promotion. I got it. Keep going.
Right. So there's all of these things. Right. The games they've made before this game were mostly top-down, 3 type of thing. Okay.
So they were trying. This is them actually trying.
Then this game is coming out, and it's the world's world difference. Right. Open world. Very, very ambitious. It almost looks like Watch Dogs. It almost looks like Division when it first looked, and when we got Division, was downscaled, so obviously, it's not going to look as good. It was supposed to be on the last-gen systems. They haven't said anything about the last-gen systems now since they moved over to Unreal Engine 5, so they're thinking that they've dropped the old systems now. They're only going to be doing it on the new systems, which is fine. You got to move on certain times. But what do you think, Sarge? With all of this coming out, obviously, I think we want this game to be good, right? I think it hits both for me and you. I think it hits a lot of points, right? It's the Division type of game. Got zombies, right? So it feels like State of Decay. Okay.
Right. Zombies. Right. Zombie. Everyone loves zombies. Go ahead.
Loves zombies, right? State of Decay type of stuff. It's an open world. It's got lots of scavenging going on, upgrading stuff. The footage of the cars driving, it almost looks like SnowRunner. It looks so good, right? It almost looks like they've taken assets from all these other games that were made in Unreal Engine, and they made this game. But do you think this game is real? Do you think when it comes out, this is going to be a full-fledged game, or do you think they're trying to pull the covers over someone's eyes here?
I mean, I know too much.
Oh, and the game, it's a free-to-play game, by the way, when it comes out.
And the games that we know about now, we know the deal. So for me, the game is close enough to release to where I'll let it speak for itself, and we'll see what happens. But as far as I can tell, the preface to this company and what it is they make, this will basically make or break them completely. If the game does well and it's them actually trying to make a video game and it's decent, they'll get the pat on the back. They'll be able to make something else. But if it's one of these types of lying cash grabs, they'll be dead in the water in less than a month. So I don't want to say anything bad. I will say I know more than most about these kind of things, and I'll just wait for the game to speak for itself. We'll know right away.
I want this game to be good. Like it comes. That's the other game that I want. I thought
sure you do.
Comes out just a couple of days before Jedi Survivor, right? I don't know. I just feel like right before this game comes out, they're going to delay it again. And if they do delay it again, that's
it's a month out, man.
Well, they did it 2 weeks. They did it 2 weeks before.
Yeah, that's because they said they were transferring it over to Unreal 5.
Right. And now they'll be like, oh, we just need a little bit more time. It'll be December, right?
Hey, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out one way or the other.
That's just it, though. Like, if it is a fraud, what's the end game?
The end game is the whatever money they make from the people who actually purchase the
So
game.
the investors,
look,
the investors that gave the money.
Listen, if Madden can still make games even being a POS, if Madden can make money being a POS, then this game can get a fair share of money before it decides to go belly up. Let's put it that way, right? Madden is a known game to be broken all the time, and people still buy it. If you hype up a game long enough, if you hype up a game enough people will buy it. Don't care, and we'll see how much money they get from them. We'll call it a cash grab, and we'll move on.
All right. Next story. We're 9 people away, Sarge. 9 people away from breaking 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Tell her friends. Grandmother right now. Tell her to make a YouTube channel.
Can I subscribe more than once?
No, you can only subscribe once. Well, the next story I want to talk about. Redfall, Starfield. So Matt Booty, a couple months ago said that Redfall is on schedule. Starfield will come out after Redfall. Okay. Then a couple weeks later, I said Starfall, didn't I? I meant Starfield. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you know exactly what's going on. You're probably calling it the right thing.
Yeah. Starfail is what it's
call it right.
Right.
Yeah,
so after that, he came out and said that. Well, they said that Starfield will be coming out in the first half of the year of 2020, which gives them up until June 31st. Okay, 30 days. It's 30 days in June. 31 days.
Are you doing the rhyme in your head?
I'm not.
Yeah, there's 30 days in June.
Okay, 30 days in June. So that's the last possible day, which is a Friday. Okay, which is a Friday, that they could come out with Starfield. Okay, what worries me about
do they mean fiscal year?
Starfield will get delayed until early 2024. Watch, yeah, no, well, yeah. We
do you mean fiscal year?
It could be fiscal year, but then I guess that gives them a little bit more time. But the fiscal year starts Q1, basically starts in March, right? Doesn't it? Starts in March.
Yes, it does.
So the first half would give them up until
October,
August, September, October.
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know if they're talking actual year or fiscal year. They just said first half of 2023. Now, Redfall release date and early access window narrowed down in a new report. The new report potentially narrows down that the release date of the co-op vampire shooter Redfall, as well as its early access plan. Okay? It says here that the specific Redfall release date in 2023 has not been announced at the time of writing this, but reliable leaker has claimed that the game has suffered the internal delay. According to the leaker, Redfall's release date has been pushed back by 6 weeks, so the game was expected to arrive in May. Now, a new report has helped narrow down even further, giving fans even better idea when it could be expected to come out with the game. Okay? So according to the report, Windows Central, citing sources close to the Madden Redfall release date, is going to be during the first week of. Beyond that, it's expected that Redfall will have an early access with Windows Central comparing it to how Forza 5. Some users a few days early access will be bought more expansive versions of the game. So early May, right? So let me pull up a calendar here. Okay, so early May, it could be any Tuesday or any Friday up until the point. Now, it could be on the 2nd, the 9th, the 3rd, or the 30th. Okay, it's almost 2nd, 5th, 9th, or 12th, right? Obviously, it can come out anytime between those dates. But if it's the first 2 weeks of May, do we think Starfield, let's just say, going by what they say, first half of the year, think Starfield, because there's rumors that it's coming out in April or May. Do you think they would be dumb enough to drop Starfield and Redfall, okay, in the same month when there's 12 months in a year?
They won't do it.
Right. So do you think that
Starfield, no matter how many rumors you guys are listening to for the last year now, right? No matter when Redfall comes out, regardless of when Redfall comes out, if Starfield is in a launchable position, that game comes out near Christmas. It's a Christmas game. They want holiday people to buy it. That's when it's coming out. If it's doable, it's coming out then. It's not coming out in the middle of the year. It's not coming out in September. It's a holiday game. They want people to buy it for the holidays, right? There's no other reason why you would delay a game that badly unless you were waiting for it to come out for the holidays, right? So regardless of when Redfall comes out, right? Listen, we already saw Starfield and the state that it's in, and nobody said a word afterwards. We just kind of closed our eyes, went like this, and everyone's just gonna wait. We're all gonna wait. We're just gonna wait a little bit more. We know it's coming. Like we all know it's coming. So at some point, right? Starfield releases. If it's launchable, it comes out this year near Christmas time. If it's not, then it goes to 24 springtime.
I think it still lands this year. I say November. But I also think that we're now in the new year. Obviously, next week will be a telling thing because they're just getting back into the offices. No one came back this week.
It doesn't mean anything.
No. What I'm saying is the new year hasn't started yet for the companies. They're not back yet.
Right. They're not back officially yet. You're right.
So they come back next week.
They're wiping the crust out of their eye.
Yeah.
They're cleaning up the tequila from their face.
That's right.
I know how this goes.
So within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're talking first 2 weeks of February, if we don't hear anything from Bethesda, which there's supposed to be some sort of stream or something that's going to happen early on, they're going to tell us more about what's going on. If they don't tell us in the next 3 weeks, this game's not coming out in April. Okay? There's no way that Starfield, Microsoft's biggest title since the console launched, behind Halo and Forza, okay? There's no way in hell they rushed this marketing because we're in January now. You need 3 months of marketing to really kind of push what's going on, okay? At least 3 months, if not 6 months, okay? And they haven't said a damn thing up until this point, okay? So within the next 3 weeks, in my opinion, if they don't say anything about the date, okay, then it's pushed back even further. Obviously, right now there could be problems with Redfall. If it does get delayed, they're not going to release Starfield before Redfall, okay? They want Redfall to come out first, and I understand that Redfall's Arcane studio, okay, but it's still under Bethesda. Then you have Starfield, which is their baby. And we don't know about the third game of when Indiana Jones comes out, okay? I think it's a little dumb that the movie's coming out this year and the game doesn't come out this year. Okay?
They can never match that up anymore. Those days are over.
So
the days of matching up the game being ready with the movie coming out, or
it's not movie related, but still, you would think you would capitalize on the.
It's always a cross promotional thing. That's always how it goes.
I just don't see Starfield, and I'll say I'm wrong, but I'm wrong. But I don't see Starfield happening before June 30th. I don't. I think it happens.
No. What you said was that Starfield comes out after Redfall, and
right.
That's 100% correct. No matter when Redfall comes out,
right?
Starfield's after Redfall,
right? But I do believe that Starfield will be out. I think we keep saying Starfall. I think Starfield.
Everyone knows what you mean.
Starfield will come out in November, I think, October, November time. Rebsy says Starfield November 10th.
Listen, anybody who's anybody, especially in the realm of the critics, know that the developing team knows when their game is done. You have at least 3 months of final testing and tweaks before you release the game. The last 3 months of you before you release is all cleanup, tweak fixes, game testing to make sure the game works. That's how you know the game is done, right? If you don't get a release date, it's because they are not 3 months away, right? When you get a release date, that means they know that they're at least 3 months away, that they're good. Right. If you don't hear it, then don't bother asking.
Then Starfield set a hard date, 11/11, and they didn't hit it.
You know what? What they said a hard date, I think they do it on purpose, though. Think about it. All right, here's a conspiracy theory. I'm sorry I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. if you are being pressured to release a game and your team knows that it's not ready, but they're not listening to you, right? The higher ups aren't listening to you. They're just like, this is the date. This is what we got to do. You guys got to figure it out, right? The development team goes, okay, they're not going to listen to us. What we're going to do is we're going to do a demo and we're going to show everybody what it is, right? And this is the power of the internet now. They released the demo of the game for the public to see, and the public goes, WTF? What am I playing? What's going on? This can't be it. And so there's such outrage that they get delayed, right? This has happened twice now. Once was for Halo, okay, right? Once was straight up Halo, and I'm trying to remember the name of the other game. It escapes me right now. I'll come back to it, right? So they're delayed a year. So same deal, right? Starfall Field, right? Starfall Field
Powerful field.
wasn't ready. They kept telling them, this is the hard date. We want to do our Skyrim date 11/11. It's going to be so cool. And they were like, we're not close, man. We're not close. And so what did they do? Once again, they showed a little demo of what they had, and everyone lost their minds, right? And then all of a sudden, after that, we're pushed back to next year. What a surprise,
Right.
right? So it seems to me that the developers have found a way to delay their own game, even though they're not ready, okay? Because the higher ups want to push it and they say no. And this is the way they get around the suits and say, are we ready? Are we not? Here's what we got. And the public goes, don't release that. Don't release it. And then they go, oh, we're pushing it back. Surprise, people. Surprise.
I said the other day, I was in Lono's chat the other day in his member stream talking about Starfield. I said, this is make or break for them. And I forget, one of the people got back and said, how is this make or break when they've been around for all these decades and Microsoft went easy. They didn't pay $7 billion for those other games. They paid $7 billion for Bethesda to join in, and this is their first game since they bought the thing for $7 billion, that this is their first up, right? Redfall and Starfield, okay, are all coming out.
Starfall Field.
Starfall Failfield, okay? It's like a cookie. It's like a chocolate chip cookie, right? That they, in my opinion, they need to make this game work because
yes,
it doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be a game. Because I said this as well. I said, look, Microsoft doesn't care if the game is flawless. They just need it to work and be on Game Pass, right? Because they need titles for Game Pass. They don't care that people, because let's be honest, the sales of this game are not going to be phenomenal because it's on Game Pass. Okay? No one's going to buy. If you're a Game Pass owner, you're not going to buy the game for $70. You're not. Unless you get this collector's edition and you're that hardcore person, you're getting the standard edition, okay? And you're not paying $70. You're going to get the standard edition and you're going to play on Game, okay? So Redfall, Starfield, okay? They're all on Game Pass, day one, day and date, okay? And they don't need to be perfect. They just need to work on day one, and they'll fix it along the way, right?
Todd's words, not ours.
That's exactly right.
Todd's words, not ours.
That's right. Okay. So Creature says the lack of confidence or lack of competence. Right. It's just strange to we're this close to dates, and yet no dates are like I said, 3 weeks. Within 3 GXGs, if we don't hear a date of Starfall Field, okay, coming out, that's red flags. Okay. And I don't think it's going to be, and if it does, I'll say this, I'll hedge my bet. If it does come out in the first half of the year, it will be broke and buggy for 6 to 8 months.
Don't even worry about it.
Okay, 6 to 8 months before it's actually fixed.
Don't even worry about it. It's not going to happen.
That's that. Others. Oh, here's a story, Sarge. You like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Today on my morning stream. Okay, Wizards of the Coast reportedly cancels 5 video game projects Wizards of the Coast has reportedly canceled a number of upcoming video game projects. Bloomberg reports that Hasbro's subsidiary has canceled 5 video game projects as part of the internal shift in strategy. Now, Wizards of the Coast, let me tell you, Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast changed their strategy more times than I changed my underwear. Okay? They don't know what they want to do with these IPs. Provide the statement of Bloomberg stating that the Hasbro gaming branch is still committed to using digital games, has made some change in the long-term portfolio of the focus line with the development of existing brands. Those shows promise an expanded audiences way. Wizards of the Coast opened several new development studios for video with strategy purchases of exciting publishing like 2K. Bloomberg specifically cites independent studio, other side entertainment, Path Entertainment, are being impacted by these cancels. Hidden Path was working on a Dungeons and Dragons video. Job postings made that game as late as September 2022, while Other Side Entertainment was also reportedly working on a Dungeons and Dragons. 15 employees of Wizards of the Coast will also lose their jobs, but Bloomberg states they will also be given opportunity. Last year, Hasbro announced a refinement of their brand blueprint business model, which focuses on building various IPs, toys, games, movies. This is, just so you guys know, this includes Peppa Pig, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeons and Dragon Magic the Gathering, right? Like all of these major toy brand IP are all owned by these people. This makes me a little nervous, Sarge, because Splash Damage is working on the Transformers game, right? I would hope this is going to be a good game, but Hasbro doesn't know what they're doing with their IPs. So they can just cancel at any time now, and we don't know what's going on. Because just like Bloomberg said that they were doing active hiring in September 2022, and they all of a sudden shut this company down and then moved them out to other places. Well, Splash Damage is still hiring for Transformers. Could happen. And I also know about a G.I. Joe game in the works, right? So they're doing a G.I. Joe game, they're doing a Transformers game, they're doing all these things. Dungeons and Dragons movie's coming out, and yet they can't make a Dungeons and Dragons game. Like Dark Alliance, Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance that came out last year was okay. It was okay. Why? Why, chat? Why was it okay? Let's all say it together. It was on Game Pass. Right? Like that's what it is. It was just an okay game, but it was fine because I didn't spend $40, $50, $60, $70 in the game. I just played it on Game Pass, right? So this worries me, Sarge. What do you think that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, they have these IPs. Are you worried that they can't do anything with them?
Well, I think that Wizards of the Coast and both Hasbro have a problem. They have overspent. They have underperformed. They have lost a good portion of their fan base because of their corporate decisions on consumers. They had to sell off the movie studios that they had with them immediately after purchasing them because they just didn't have the ideas in place. Like I think Hasbro especially, I think if you're a toy company, you need to have.
I thought you were going to say a tool. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you need to have imaginative, creative people who are thinking about children and fun and how to sell people something that's interesting and unique, right? Something that's fun. And they have none of that, right? HasLab, after the first thing that they did, which was amazing, which was the Jabba sail barge, okay? An amazing piece that was never created and that they came up with, and a bunch of people bought it. They thought, great, we've got some people that want to buy the stuff from HasLab, so now we'll just find ways to make things cheaper and we'll make more money. And that was incorrect, because immediately after they started downgrading the quality of the HasLab projects, everybody told them where to go, right? And they lost money there. They lost money on the movies. They are spending more than they are making, and they cannot stop the bleeding. Once they sell the movie, the movie company, God knows where the end of this is going to stop, right? They need to go back to the drawing board and decide what kind of company they are and what are we trying to sell, because apparently they don't know, right? You're a toy company with IPs and you still don't know.
Right.
I don't know what we're supposed to do for you, right? why don't you look at the 50 years of stuff that you've made in the past and the reasons why it did well and go back to the drawing board and try to figure out what you're trying to sell to people, right? I don't get it, man. Listen, just look at the track record, right? I know it's cute to talk about a news story, but then everyone forgets about what's going on, and then maybe months later or a year later, another story comes up about the same company. But if you followed all the stories that have been happening over the last 3 to 4 years, Hasbro is going into the toilet, right? They're so close to bankruptcy. It's almost like hearing when Destiny was almost about to go bankrupt 3 weeks before they got saved by Forsaken. They were 3 weeks away from bankruptcy, and Forsaken saved them. Like that kind of close is what we're talking about with Hasbro. And Wizards of the Coast, same thing. The desperation is palpable because now they're trying to gouge everybody related to D&D. Copyright lawsuits going up the wazoo. They're trying to grab as much money as they can because they're faltering. Everybody got too fat a check, too big a house, too fast a car, and the company's not making steady money. They thought the 2 years of the pandemic was going to regenerate the entire Dungeons and Dragons because everybody's home, that can't leave the house. Well, that's great. You might have gotten people to get interested in it because you weren't going to work, but you had to find a way to keep them there, right? And they didn't do that. All they did was hoard the money that they made, decided to gouge the people that were there, and now they're trying to put copyrights on everything Dungeons and Dragons related. So people like Critical Role and these third-party guys who are on YouTube who make these awesome videos of their games and everybody watches, now they want to basically tax them and make them pay royalties because they're on D&D. Meanwhile, D&D's been around since I was 4, right? Never asked for a dime. They just wanted people to love the game and play it, right? But we're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about how to gouge a fan base as hard as you can until you blow your own building up. That's basically what's happening here, right? Two companies doing the same thing and both failing miserably.
I'm gonna round of applause for Sarge for a good old rant at the end here. Old rant. So
I mean, I play D&D. I love D&D. I still play. About every maybe like every other month we get to play.
I've always liked D&D.
I still play.
I've always liked D&D. Obviously, I don't have friends in the area to play D&D, but I play video games, role play inside, customize your character. Like, just speaking that out loud, like how they don't make a game that does exactly what their game does, but in a video game, it baffles my mind.
They want you to pay for the app. They're trying to get memberships for a D&D app. Like what do you think we're gonna do with that?
Right. Like I don't need an app. I can literally just write it on a piece of paper.
Here's the funny part.
Level 7
Here's the
rogue.
funny part. Yeah, here's the funny part. After you actually play D&D, you understand the rules for it. Like you don't need anything really except your imagination. Yeah, that's the kind of game that it is.
Yeah.
Everything else in the game was incidental, right? We made figures, we made cutouts, we made terrain, we made all this stuff because the mind's eye for other people wasn't that good. I'm not putting anyone down, but some people can't see it in their head. They can't see where they are. So other guys decided to, in order to get people involved and excited, they make terrain and figures. So now you can actually see where you are and let your mind connect the dots. Like that's how it's supposed to be. But no, we want to destroy.
Here's a real simple thing you can do. Program called Blender.
Exactly, Water.
Right?
Exactly.
There's a program called Blender. You can create your own character on the internet. Have a 3D printer that you can buy for as little as $100. Start printing out your own characters that you on your own imagination on a program, on a thing.
Yes.
And then just there you go. You can use anyone else's dice. You can use a sheet of paper and you can do anything you want. Yet they don't understand this. They try to nickel and dime everything from you. That's just in poor taste, right?
So what you're telling me is D&D has been around for 40 years plus, but all of a sudden now you're trying to find new inventive ways to market it. GTFOH. Okay? Please. Gary Gygax must be sitting around in his house thinking, my God, it was such an innocent time that we we came up with this and just had fun with it. And here, this tyrannical company is destroying
Yep.
my actual thoughts for a fun, interesting game for people to sit around a table with, and they're trying to drill a hole into it.
Yep.
Like it's just mind numbing to me how they can't figure out how to market it. It's the same people you market to. You're supposed to make it more fun and cooler. You're not supposed to make it more ridiculous and expensive. People don't have time for your stuff.
Travis, you don't even have to do that. You don't even get an overhead projector. All you need to do now is get a television set, build yourself a tabletop television set on, and you can play on top of the television set.
You put it on top of the TV.
You just take a thumb drive, put it in the back of the television. You can you can change whatever
the
pictures
new
you want.
programs.
Yeah.
The new programs they have out. You just put the thumb drive into the TV, and you put a glass top over top of the television, and you're basically your dungeon's on your television. Just move it around.
Move it around. You don't even need that. You don't need overhead projector. Television set.
We are far from. It saddens me. It saddens me to see that the remaining companies who should be doing more to incorporate fun and imaginative products that people want to buy and have fun with, and they're trying to gouge. That's all they're trying to do. When they gouge like this, it's desperation. I would not be surprised if Hasbro doesn't make it to the end of the year. I would not be surprised. Right? Nobody's at the wheel. Right? They have a bunch of guys in suits and fast cars making these decisions because they're getting these checks from all the stuff that they keep selling, but there's no base of recurring revenue. There might be a cool toy that they all focus on, but there's the base of what they're trying to sell is faltering, and they don't have it. They don't have it.
Right. Time of the question. You guys have questions, we have answers. So
I have questions. Anybody going to answer my questions? I got questions.
Ask your question. Put it in the tab above. Right now we have one question. One question by Al Dente. Says, do you think Microsoft isn't releasing games so they're able to get that merger? Because I feel like they are taking their name just to get their merger complete. Not releasing because of the merger.
I'm vested in this merger. I've done the research on this merger. The FTC and whoever made the phone calls in order to slow things down, in order to just, I guess, roadblock this deal from happening, is not going to happen, right? This deal is going to go through. The facts of the case are there. You can read them for yourself. The combination of these two companies in no way shows a monopoly, in no way shows a lack of competitiveness for other companies. It just shows that a software company is buying a publishing company because they're trying to get into the mobile market. That's all it shows.
Right.
And no matter what you hear on the news about how they're trying to block this, UK is going to block it and Brazil's going to block it. Like it makes no sense, because you can't just, well, let's put it this way. When June comes, because that'll be the end of the fiscal year for 2022, right? And that deal goes through, you'll realize that basically what had happened was Sony got a stall in Microsoft's aggressive positioning for new market agenda. Good words, right? And basically, they had time to revamp their thought process of what they want to do with PlayStation and how to get into the market. And they've had this whole time to start making decisions. Once that deal goes through, which it will, right, we'll be in a whole different ballpark, right? That's exactly what's going to happen, right? It's not going to go through. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's just not.
It's definitely
the deal is happening. You have to understand what it takes, right? And if you want a little bit of information, go back and look at before. Everyone in here is pretty young, right? Go back and look at mergers of companies you didn't really care about then, and look at the merger and look what it actually did, and then see what the antitrust issue is and see why they were trying to block it, right? And if you look at all those, and they're serious ones, like big time serious companies that they're like, there's no way we should allow this. And they gave all these reasons. And even after all those reasons, they were like, no, the deal's good.
Right.
This deal has nowhere near the conflict that those companies had from years past. Nowhere near the conflict. So there's no way in hell that this deal doesn't go through.
Yeah.
This is just a stall tactic. That's all this is. Friends made phone calls. It's a stall tactic. It's fine.
It's been almost a year since they announced we're gonna buy Blizzard, right? And since then, PlayStation has done all of these things to kind of play ball with Xbox, right? Streaming service, now the piece, done all their stuff. It is a play tactic. I personally think obviously this is going to go through. Do I think they're stopping the game? Like, do you think they stopped Starfield from coming out because of the merger? I don't think so. I think they're
do your research. Do your research. It's already a fact. It's a fact now that PlayStation has paid third-party people to make sure that those games don't go to Microsoft, right? And I think it's just scummy. Now, if Microsoft is caught doing the same thing, which I haven't caught the facts yet, I have the facts on the PlayStation side. I don't have the facts yet on the Microsoft side. So I'm not siding with Microsoft or PlayStation. I'm siding with the gamer. Right? You're stopping me from getting a game because you don't want it on that system because you're trying to force me to buy another system. That's scummy on any level. That's anti-consumer. So if we're going to talk about anti-consumer procedures that a company is doing, facts right now state that PlayStation has done it at least 4 times. 4 titles that have been paid not to be on the other side. Now think about that for a moment. Think about how much money you'd have to pay in order for them not to sell on the opposing system, right?
right.
I would think as a company, you want to sell as much product as possible. So I guess the number crunchers have gotten in a room and decided, well, if we sold it on this system, we would probably sell about this many units. And so PlayStation or Sony has to fork over amount of money equaling that so it would not be on their other system.
Right.
How does that help you control the market that you paid that much money for them not to have the game so they can go ahead and buy it on yours?
Right.
You think that many people, you think the 13 or 14 million people that don't have a PlayStation are now going to go out and buy a PlayStation because of that one game? Like, that's the mentality. It's scummy, bro. It's scummy, right? The whole purpose of consoles was choice, and then you had first-party titles that went along with that console. A first-party title means that the company themselves have a development team making games for themselves. Anybody else has a game, it's released on all platforms, everybody gets a chance to play it, everybody gets a chance to make money, but for some reason, in this day and age, we are now paying companies not to release a game on the opposing system.
Yep.
Times have changed, man.
Yep.
And it's scummy. It's just scummy.
Next question. Krebsy says, what closes first, Hasbro or the That's the Activision Blizzard. What closes first? Hasbro go out of business, or the Activision Blizzard?
Bankruptcy laws and all the options you have stall any company from closing for at least almost a year. So the Activision Blizzard closes before Hasbro goes out.
They'll finish that deal, I would say, by June.
The end of the fiscal year for 22 is like April, May, June, and that's where it's going to close.
Yeah.
I got a calendar. I picked the date. I have it on like June 12th or 13th.
And then Viking says, is Sarge wearing pants, and does he still have the Avenger pins?
Yep. Pants.
Got pants. He's wearing pants. Where's those pins, Sarge? Got those pins? Got the pins.
Still for sale, baby. Still for sale.
Collector's editions now because they're dead.
Still for sale.
So that
factory sealed.
That will, I think, do it for us. We are 9 short at this. We were 7 short, and now we're 9 short for 1,000 subscribers on this channel. So hopefully by next podcast, we'll be over the 1,000 and monetized. Hopefully. So we do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us every single week over on the main channel. Generation X Gaming will now live over here on 30NSG. So Season 9, all the playlists and stuff are still over on the main channel if you want to go catch out those broadcasts. There are new playlists over here. Season 9 GXG will be over here on 30NSG. Please go check out the rest of the content that we have on this channel. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit that subscribe button. Please make sure you go check out Sarge at Sarge McCluskey over on Twitter. Make sure you check out me over on Twitter as well. You can follow us there. We don't really tweet much, but we're there. And we do appreciate you. I do a daily show called The Daily Grind, which is over on the main channel as of right now. We also do uploads here on 30NSG. We also have a other channel called Nerding with 30, where I go over movie trailers and entertainment and whatnot. There'll be a Cocaine Bear trailer going up there tomorrow. Check that out. Well, appreciate you very much for coming out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And thank God I can't talk. I'm going silent for the next remaining 3 days. I'll see you guys on Monday over on the Daily Grind. Have a good night. Peace.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.